So we're here at Home Cinema in Manchester with Joanna Lester. We've just watched the film Power Meri. How did the idea for the film come about?
Well, it came about when I was working in rugby league up in Papua New Guinea. I was working with a lot of female colleagues, all of whom were rugby league players. I was the only woman in the office who didn't play rugby league. And as many of your audience will know, rugby league is the national sport of Papua New Guinea, which is also a country where women have very few opportunities. There's a lot of violence against women, and generally the status and treatment of women is quite a lot below men and below many other countries. So the story of women playing rugby league, the country's national sport, but a very male-dominated sport, I always thought was quite a powerful one. My colleagues played for their local clubs. They were having an impact in their communities, the story of them playing. But I always wondered what could be done to share that story more widely. And when Papua New Guinea were invited to enter a women's team in the last World Cup, that was sort of the impetus to create a national team for women, and an impetus for me to look to share their story more widely.
And you could see in the film some of the quotes that came off social media, presumably from men saying that the women weren't worthy of the shirt, they were wasting taxpayers' money, but the story touches you so deeply, doesn't it, what the women actually went through just to get onto the field.
Yes, all the Facebook comments in the film were real comments posted at the time. Facebook is obviously a place where a lot of conversations happen everywhere in the world, but particularly in Papua New Guinea, it's one of the main discussion forums for the country, I suppose, and many things are reflected on there. And the changing tide of social media opinion on the women's team is a big part of the film, and was a big issue at the time. The coaching staff sort of constantly had to talk to the players about this and to try and ignore the distraction. And this is something that rugby league players at all elite levels face. We've shown the film to lots of NRL players who've said that, you know, this is a big issue for them as well. So yeah, I think it's interesting because it does reflect the sort of changing tide of public opinion there, but is an issue in elite sport generally.
And just tell us what it was like actually being in camp with the girls and the coaches. Did they all buy into it as well?
It was a fantastic experience. Some people bought into it from the very beginning, some took a little more persuading. Obviously, any team in a World Cup doesn't expect to be asked to be filmed throughout that process. But we focused on a few key characters who I'd known for a long time and who were always very supportive of the project. So it was only really sort of 3 or 4 players who we interviewed repeatedly, and a couple of coaching staff. And they're so happy with the film. 3 of them are based in Papua New Guinea and 1 in Australia, and they're often speaking at screenings. Just this weekend, they're attending screenings in the highlands of PNG, sharing the film with people who work in the mines up there. So yeah, they've had a lot of opportunity to tell their story through the film more widely.
And obviously there's lots of screenings coming to the north of England, and there's a London launch as well, isn't there? And they can get these details from your social media, can't they?
Yes, so we are at Power Meri Film. Meri is spelled MERI, across all social media, and our website is powermerifilm.com. And we've got screenings coming up in London, Leeds, Manchester, Warrington and Huddersfield in the next 3 weeks, so early April. So please do go online and get your tickets and come and join us.
And obviously this is all part of the 2021 Rugby League World Cup as well. Any plans for Power Meri 2 to follow the girls over here in a couple of years' time?
That is a very commonly asked question. Everyone is interested in the sequel. Obviously with the World Cup being in England, which is where I'm from, I think that would be an amazing experience. The Orchids are so excited to be coming to England for the next World Cup. And wouldn't it be amazing to see what a difference 4 years had made, where in the film we sort of see the beginnings of difference over the period of a year. So it's been talked about a lot. Watch this space.